folks? You know the drill. Mark, Flying Health Coach. Happy that you're here. Happy insert whatever day it is today, whatever day you're watching this, but I hope you're having a great day. I'm super stoked you're here, even cosmically stoked, I might add to that. It's my new adjective that I want to put into my world. But I'm happy that you're here. I hope you're excited to be here. Hope you're looking forward to me learning some new tactics you can incorporate in your life to help change your life and to rewire your brain to change your life, which is the point of tonight's video or this morning's video, again, whenever you're watching it. So what we're going to talk about tonight is how to rewire your brain to change your life, right? To become the best version of you. Now, is this one video going to change your entire life? Well, maybe it will. That'd be awesome if it did, right? But I do these videos to really help you just think differently, to push you in the right direction, to eventually to where you become the 2.0 version of yourself, right? Because as I've seen throughout my life, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, you watch one video on like development or growth or self-help or spirituality, whatever it might be, and you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of cool ideas there, that was awesome, but then it leads you to another video, then do another one. So hopefully this is a way, something you can just add to your arsenal of things you can do for you to help you become the best version of yourself. So without further ado, let's talk about it. For those of you new to this, or new to my channel, or new to self-development and growth, Hawkins scale of consciousness. So what is this? It's a condensed version. Move over here. But what it is, it's a scale of your conscious emotions that you feel daily, weekly, right, monthly. But it, on the red, right, we have your lower vibrational states, right? Those emotions like anger and fear, anxiety or feeling uneasy, right? The stuff that just makes you feel, right? The stuff that's just like, I really don't want to do anything. I just kind of feel crappy inside. I'm not motivated right now. I don't care, right? Even tossing like sociopath. But point is, your lower vibrational states, those emotions that don't make you feel jazzed up. You go to the middle, right? Willingness and acceptance. Now, this is where I think a lot of people tend to just kind of resonate with. They kind of just, I don't want to say stuck, but they spend a lot of their life in just this middle state where they're not like super, super happy, but they're not really sad. They're just kind of somewhere in the middle. And then you have your tip-top emotions, your high vibe state emotions, right? Your joy, happiness, peace, calmness, empathy. Those are all your more pleasurable emotions. These are emotions like if you're in this state more often than not, that's the stuff that's really going to help you, keep pushing towards your goals and your aspirations and keep the determination going to get to your 2.0 version, right? So as I do a lot of these videos, the goal is how do we go from here to there, which is where I want to be. And as you guys know, it's inevitable. You can't live life without being here sometimes. If we didn't have, we need to have this to get to that, right? Because what are these lower vibe states anyways? Well, as Tony Robbins puts it, which I think is brilliant, they're action signals, right? Because what is emotion? Emotions are just chemical signals in your brain based on a thought process you had. Thoughts, led to a certain emotion of feeling angry or pissed off or depressed or anxious. Well, you don't want to feel that way, right? It's not a natural state for you to be in, but that gives you an action signal, right? And what does that mean? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's a call for you to change, that what you're doing is not working. What you're doing needs to stop right now so you can get to willingness and acceptance. That's going to get you to the higher vibe states, which is pleasure, right? Pain to pleasure, okay? How do I go from there to there more consistently? And that's what we want to focus on. So, hope you guys have a pen and paper ready because I want you to take notes as we do this so you can journal on it later or just even take notes during and think about it from your own life and your own perspective. Excuse my allergies as always. 'Tis the season. I know it's annoying, so bear with me. It's 3 steps that I want to go through with you guys tonight. These are coming out of the book Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, his Neural Associative Conditioning. It's super powerful stuff. I've applied it to my life in some of my areas, and I've seen such a good drastic effect that it's made on me as a person when it comes to things that I've wanted to change. So I wanted to share that with you, but just kind of a condensed version to get you started and get you going in the right direction. So what is the point of Neural Associative Conditioning, or NAC for short? Well, the point is that over your life, we've developed we'll just call them coping mechanisms, right? I feel pain because of something that happened to make me feel pain inside. I do X habit so that I can feel Y pleasure, right? I know you can relate to this. I feel something, I do something so I can feel better, right? Smoking, chewing, exercising too much, working too much, whatever have you. Pick your poison, right? So over our life, we develop these neural pathways. Again, pain and pleasure pathways. You know, as they say, neurons that fire together, wired together. So those are your neural pathways inside your brain that you develop, that if I feel pain, if I do this, I will gain pleasure. Okay? So why do you want to break that? Well, biggest reason is we want to incorporate healthier means to keep us in those pleasurable states so we don't have to feel the pain. We don't have to feel a certain way, even when things trigger us in our life, right? We can stay in those higher vibe pleasurable states. So the question is, how do we do that? How do we stick around those higher vibe states, i.e. joy, happiness, right? Peace, calmness, having faith. 3 things we're going to go over. So step number 1, put it up here on the video, but step number 1 is decide what you want and what's preventing you from having it. It's a great journaling prompt, right? So write that down, decide what you want and what's preventing you from having it. I'm going to use me as an example, right? It's a practical example. It's mildly embarrassing, but it's something that I've been focused on a lot in my life recently, and this stuff like this helped me immensely, so I want to help you. So context to it. When I was in college, when I was 20 years old, when I first got into college, I became addicted to chewing tobacco. Why did I start chewing? Because I wanted to be part of the guys. I wanted to be a part of the group. You know, all my friends that they were chewing, and they were these older guys that I thought were so cool. I'm like, well, I want to chew too with you guys so I can be cool with you. So I did. Fast forward 14 years later, we're here now, and I'm finally implementing the stuff in my life that is going to help me get to be my 2.0 version, which again is the point of these videos to help you get there. So, first step, decide what you want and what's preventing you from getting it. So as an example, what do I want? Well, I no longer want to chew, or I don't want to associate myself with chew, or I don't want to think of myself as addicted to chew, right? I have a multitude of ways I think about this. So point is, I don't want to chew anymore, okay? That's the point. What's preventing me from not chewing anymore or from quitting is my mindset, right? Is the fact that I've developed such a strong neural pathway with, if I feel a certain way, if I put a pouch in, I'll feel better. But it's such a strong belief that I have in my mind that if X happens, I put a pouch in, I'll feel okay. I'll be more focused then, right? But it's been such a strong belief for me. So that's step 1 for you, right? Decide what you want and what's preventing you from getting there. Most likely it's because of the neural pathway you developed inside your mind. What's step number 2? Step number 2 is gain leverage, okay? Pretty simple. Step number 2, gain leverage. What does that mean? It means find a way in your mind to associate massive pain by not stopping what you're currently doing, but also associate massive pleasure by stopping what you're doing, right? As an example for me and my chewing habit, right? I know it's embarrassing, so I'm supposed to be a health coach here, but this is real life and we're talking about it. So for me, what's been helping me a lot recently is, what's my massive pain? Well, it's kind of multitude of things. A, I'm going to keep spending way too much money on something that's not helping me in my life. And then B, I'm likely going to develop mouth cancer. C, I'm not going to be healthy for my spouse, my family. And then D, finally, I potentially might not be around for my kids down the road. Right? So I have 3 or 4 things that when I really think about them and I feel that emotion with, if I don't quit this, if I don't stop this, there's a high probability that I'm going to die at a young age. It's morbid, but it's true. I'm going to keep spending all this money on chew when I could be spending this excess, extra money on some, whether it's like the protein shakes that I love so much, or, going to eat out with friends or spending more time with friends, right? But that's the point. So, step one, again, decide what you want, what's preventing you from getting it. Step two, gain leverage. Associate massive pain by not changing, but also associate massive pleasure by changing. What's that look like? So again, for me, talked about the pain. What's my pleasure? Well, when I change, not if, when, by changing my chewing habit, I'm going to save more money, right? I'm going to feel more confident. I'm going to want to smile more. I'm going to live a longer, healthier life. I have all these things that are such a large positive for me to quit this habit, right? So again, for you, if you want, pause the video now, take some time, journal on something that, journal on what you can do to gain leverage over yourself and whatever you're trying to change, okay? What's step three? Step three is going to create an empowering alternative, right? Because, and this goes into the whole cold turkey thing, right? I don't believe in cold turkey. I'm sure some people can do it, but in reality, if you go cold turkey on something and then you start back up 6 months later, what'd you really do? Even if it was 6 years later, you never actually rewired your brain to not ever do that thing ever again, did you? No, you didn't. So we don't care about short term. We care about forever, right? That's the goal. So create an empowering alternative. So what does that mean for you? So for me, when it comes to chewing habit, my alternative, honestly, is going back to thinking, what am I all gaining from this, right? So I think what I'm gaining from it, but also what I've done now too, is I went out and bought what it's called Kachava, right? It's a protein powder I really love. It's loaded with adaptogenic herbs and all these, I'll just say adaptogenic herbs, high protein, high fiber, just all this healthy stuff that I didn't buy before because I would rather spend money on chew. So I'm choosing to say, you know what? No, instead of buying extra chew, I'm going to go buy this thing that makes me feel really good on the inside. And it's a wonderful alternative. I feel so much better doing that than I do going to buy a tin of chew anymore. So I'm putting something better in my body and taking something out. That's my alternative. Okay? So those three steps right there. Again, one, excuse the allergies. One, decide what you want and what's preventing you from getting it. Two, gain leverage, right? Associate massive pain by not changing, but then also associate massive pleasure by changing or when you do change. Three, incorporate an empowering alternative, right? You have to put something back, you have to add something to your life to counteract that old behavior, right? If you don't, this is one of the most important steps, hands down. If you don't do this step, sometimes we have what are called secondary gains, right? And those secondary gains are essentially, yes, I kind of want to change this, but, I'm just, or I want to change this, I'm just going to quit cold turkey. I'm going to use willpower, right? Which is depleted. It's a depletable resource. It's not going to work. I'm going to use willpower alone to get this, but then, oh shit, now I want to change, and changing is stressful. Oh, now this happened. Okay, I'm just going to go back to smoke a cigarette again. But it's secondary gain. It's secondary motivations to why I want to keep doing this habit. And that's going to happen if you don't incorporate some kind of empowering alternative. And again, do whatever works best for you. For me, it was, like I said, I wanted to go buy Kachava. I love this stuff. It tastes great. It makes me feel awesome on the inside. It's got, again, all these adaptogenic herbs in it that just make you feel like a badass, I think. So you're putting something back into your life to replace the old habit that also makes you feel really good. So journal on those three things, or think about them. You don't have to journal everything on the planet, but think about how you can incorporate those three steps in your life. And I promise you, if you can do that, you're going to you don't got to start crazy big either. Just start with something, practice it, right? Keep practicing it, keep conditioning those three steps into your life. As you do that, you're going to notice a lot of positivity coming your way, and you're going to notice a lot of good positive changes that are occurring in your life. So give it a shot. Hope this helps. And don't forget, to like and subscribe up there in the corner. flyinghealthcoach@gmail.com. If you guys want to do some health coaching, again, I talk about all the time, health coaching is not about telling you what to do. It's just about me meeting you where you're at, us having a conversation, and figuring out together as a team what's the next best route to take to get you where you want to be. Last but not least, folks, my book, Flying Health Coach Guide How to Un-F Your Life, is available on my links page on my YouTube. Again, you can read about 13, 14 pages for free to see if you like it, see if you jive with it. If you do, awesome. If you don't, that's cool too. If you do like what you're reading, the book's available for purchase, link below it, for $6.99. Again, the book's very much a workbook. There's a lot of writing involved. Not a lot of reading. It's only about 123 pages, but again, just like these videos, it's a book that I really just want to make you guys get a little better, push you in the right direction, and eventually get to where you want to be in your life, your 2.0 version. So, as always, hope the video was helpful. Hope you took something from it. Hope you learned something new from it, and it gives you something you can try in your own personal life. Peace and cheers.